Nayiga Precious, and I'm going to be taking you through comprehension. And it's really good study. I think it's one of those areas in this Preentry that you should, if not almost, count your marks. Count it like one of those areas that are going to be easy for you. I don't know what you've had before. I don't know how you've attempted the questions before, but the idea is generally the same. They'll ask you, you read, you understand, they'll ask you a question about things in that very passage. They may ask you about the meaning of the big words you've even never seen before, and it's okay. So we are going to look at, if you check your booklet, there are some passages I composed, and we shall maybe go through one of them. Basically, I'm just going to give you tips, because the answers are already there generally. The answers are already there, so I'm just going to give you tips that in that when you see another passage on Saturday, it's easy peasy, like because I offer marks, something like that. Don't laugh, it's possible. Yeah. So, first of all, some of the things that you have to consider in comprehension, which is basically the passage part, is they know you know the answers are in there, so they're not going to make it easy for you. And every time you see a question is very easy, all things seem straightforward, please be alert. That's when you have to be most scared, because they are tricky. They don't want to give it to you on a silver platter, because they know the answers are in this passage they're asking you. So they'll not make it easy. Every question is tricky. And they'll give you options sometimes, and you see all the options are right, or they are all wrong. Please take a breath and read. They want the most correct answer. In most cases, they'll give you answers that you see are all correct. But they want the most correct, the most suitable. And you also have to, when you're reading it through, don't panic, read with confidence. These are things that are in that same passage that are going to ask you. So some of the things that I think are important, and I always advise the students I tutor, I always tell them when you're reading a passage, the first time you're reading it, one of the key things you have to find out is, what is the tone of the narrator or the person telling that story? What is their tone? And this helps you a lot. This helps you a lot when you're answering the question, because when you find out the tone someone is using, let's say it's a passage that begins with, its opening statement is, oh God, that man, with an exclamation, or maybe it's even in quotes. The preceding things, the wording, they'll talk about she lamented. Lamented means this and this. She complained, or she was irritated, she was frustrated. It helps you understand what their tone is. If the tone is something that is aggressive, it's bitter, you understand the whole passage, means there is something wrong, something they want to correct. Someone is angry at something. It may not help you in the beginning, but when you find out, it will help you answer the questions, because most of the questions sometimes require you to know what is the message being put across. And the trick with comprehension is that they ask you questions, they know you're going to give the answers that you want, but I want you to answer what they're asking you. It's like they'll ask you, what is the idea, what is the main idea portrayed in this passage? Of course, you're going to read and you'll be like, this was referring about a dog, mommy, dog, yeah, it's a dog. No, that's not what they want to ask. It goes deeper. So you have to read and understand. That's why it's called comprehension. And to understand these things sometimes, you have to take into your mind a lot of aspects. And some of those things that I find very helpful when you're looking at passages is finding out what is the tone of this person talking. Are they happy? Is it joyful? Like, what is the situation around this entire passage? If they get a passage from something that happened, let's say 1970, to something about someone abusing a means government, what is their tone? It could be someone who is narrating was one of those people who are happy with the regime. It could be someone who was angry, someone who was affected by it. And it could be someone who doesn't care, they're indifferent, they don't care what is going on. So it's important to find out what is their tone, because it will help you later to ascertain the message and to give the best answers to the passage. And the tone can be bitter, It can be joyful, or excited, happy. The tone of the person, the way I speak my words, the tone is how my words come out. So if I'm using a very strong tone, like aggressive, if someone just says like, it's okay. Is it really okay? If I use a tone like that to say it's okay. And it's different from someone says, yeah, that's fine, it's okay, I accept your apology. You understand? There is a difference in the tone. One is aggressive, it's strong, it's coming on too strong. That means something is wrong, they're still irritated. Yeah, so there is also another aspect of finding out who is the narrator or the person telling us the story. Now, there are those who know about these things, and for us who don't know about them, mostly people who have done literature find these things not new, but you know, Preentry, they will not ask, did you do pen, did you do literature? They'll just throw a paper at you and expect the winner to take that day. So, you have to also look at the aspect of who is the narrator in this case, who is telling the story. And when we look at this, there are basically 3 points of view. They can also ask you a question. So, what is the point of view? What is the narrator's point of view in this passage? They want you to find out who is narrating. It is not just there. You know, there are some passages that start with, I woke up in the morning, I looked at my bedside, my cat was looking at me. That is a first person narrator. The words are coming from my mouth. I'm narrating my events. It's different from when the passage begins with, she's not a bright student. Her parents always wondered, what is wrong with her? That is a different person narrator. I'm talking about you. Or someone is talking about me. They are not me. And then it's also different when someone is like, they went this side with him, his car. You understand? Those are 3. We have 3. We have the first person narrator, and we have the second person, and the third person. Third person is sometimes also called omniscient, but I will not ask you these things. You just have to know. But there are questions where they ask the omniscient narrator. The omniscient is that person we also don't know. We don't know who they are. They are just telling us things. Maybe like you see some parts of the Bible, we don't know who is talking, but then there is a voice talking, there are things being said. Or any other story, well, we don't know who is talking. For first person, they use I, me, us, ours. You know, you can ascertain who is talking. It's that person narrating their personal events. And then for the second person, they're talking about she, he, and then the third person, they, him, her. You understand? Yes, when you notice those things, then it brings you to the third tip. Another tip is, usually from when you're dealing with comprehension, the passages, it is not the norm, it's not like mandatory, but in most cases, the way they are asking questions, these questions are arranged from, when you read the paragraphs, these passages are mostly in paragraphs. So they will ask a question, most likely, in most cases, question 1 will come from something in paragraph 1, if it's a short story. Question 1 will come from the very first paragraphs. When you're reading these stories, pay attention to the paragraphs. So in most cases, question 1 will come from the first paragraph. And when they ask that, you go back and read what is the first paragraph saying. They normally arrange these questions according to paragraphs. I'm not saying it's what will happen, but be mindful in case you see the question and it's pointing to the first paragraph. Remember what I said, go back and read the paragraph and give the best answer. They'll give you like 3 correct answers and 1 best answer. You have to choose the best answer. That's why you have to read and understand who is talking. Okay, are they happy? Are they sad? So if they are not happy, they are trying to say this. You cannot choose an option that is giving you a happy answer if the writer is complaining. unless it's a question that is asking you for the best alternative, or the alternative, the suggestion or the recommendation that that person will be happy with. If this person has been complaining about the system being bureaucratic, a lot of unprofessionalism, when they ask you what you think is the most correct solution, they will agree with you. You have to understand, okay, they have been complaining. So if they are complaining, what solution do they want? That is why you have to gauge their tone and understand that they lamenting. If lamenting is a negative emotion. No one can lament positive. Like lamented in peace. You can't lament in peace. When you're lamenting, you're bitter about something, you're complaining. You have to understand the wording. When they open, like the quotations and the opening statement, in most cases the use of exclamation is to emphasize. If it's something happy, they're saying, wow, with an exclamation. It's emphasizing the happiness. But if they're saying, maybe they're saying something negative, I don't want to use any swearing words, but if they're saying anything negative and they're like, oh God, that woman, with an exclamation, and then they continue, complain the neighbor for the second time in a row. You understand? Oh God, that woman, that means they're not happy. They complained. The following words are complained. So you already understand there is something wrong. This is not a happy passage. It is not someone who doesn't care. It is someone who is aggrieved and they want solutions. So when they ask you for the best solution, you have to understand what is the problem in the first place. Are they complaining? Are they happy? You understand it? So when you find out about the paragraphs, most questions are arranged according to paragraph. There will be that question that we want you to take into account the entire passage, that will ask you everything that is happening. To sum it up, they may ask you what you think will be the suitable title. That means you have to read the entire passage and get a title that speaks to everything, not just because you said we're talking about a dog, a puppy, you're like, puppies. You don't just throw things there. You look at something that will make more meaning. Of course, they will give you the options. You get that one, which gives us a snippet or a synopsis into the story. Like, even if I don't read the entire story, when I read the title, does it bring something to my mind? What do I get? You understand? So take into consideration the paragraphs when you're answering. In most cases, questions will be arranged according to the paragraphs of the passage. Important is, when you're reading the passage, guaranteed there are going to be hard words. They're going to be very hard words in most cases. Not in most cases. Sometimes there will be new words you've never seen them before. You're not even a student of literature. Even if you're a student of literature, those words are really big sometimes. You don't know. And it's okay. You don't have to know everything. No one goes into that paper knowing everything. So you just have to capitalize on the parts that you know best. I think I should have told you in the beginning. If you're someone who was like me, my numerical skills were really wow. I'll just switch off. I don't even think I got any number correct in math. I think I'll just look at name, circle, until it's done. But you shouldn't have to do that. But you have to understand and concentrate your knowledge why you know you do best. And if you're someone who knows, you can crush the aptitude. Aptitude was easy for me. I find aptitude easy and the questions repeat themselves over the years. And the idea is the same. It may not come back the same way, but if they're asking you the sequence of APT, now they'll ask you that at the same time. Maybe they'll use X, Y, Z this time. But the ideas were recurring there. So you would know I have my aptitude, I'll get what I get. Then I'll come to my English parts because I didn't know a lot of math. I didn't know math. Let me not even write. I didn't know math. So you would come and you're like, let me get my marks from here. Let me at least come out with, if it's a 20, if it's a part with 20, at least let me get 15 worst. Because there will be that section that asks you to give meanings of big words you don't know, you've never seen before, and you have to just guess. If you're lucky and you've seen the word before, you've been revising them, that is better. And then you'll know if there are two passages, one is for 10 marks or 15, and the other is for 20. Let me count my maybe 30 marks from there, add on my aptitude, go and crush my writing skills, write a passage, tell them, slap them with some lines, whatever I get, make my story so nice. Then come and do Kanemu or 9 mathematics, I maybe give 2 marks. Then go die with general knowledge. Something like the current affairs. You can die with the current affairs. If you've been following the current affairs, you may get your 10, you're lucky. You may get your 5. No one gets it all right. No one, let no one be right, no one. They'll put questions that you can find something to write. You may never answer, but you may fail on the spelling, and they'll not pity you. They don't like you, they don't know you. They don't love you. You just fail a spelling and you put your answer wrong. And these things happen, so you have to be very meticulous in everything you do. It's a spelling, master it. If you're good in a field, be the best in it. And count your marks from there, add on other things. Put a strategy. Don't just go and be like, I'll die with everything. If you know you're good in English and language skills, writing, die with that. Make sure you're the best in that. You can always add on marks from the other side. You never know, 1 mark goes a long way. Sometimes they'll just cut off and you're just 1 mark short. And it happens. So you have to be really very vigilant. When you think that the paper is easy, if you finish your paper and you think it was easy, you have to be so alert. Go back. Because if it's easy, you're not the only one who has found it easy. You're going to raise the pass mark. So you need as many marks as you can. Check the paper is easy, you find it easy. Go back and reread. Go back and make more correction. Go and cross out things, reread your answers. Because the pass mark is going to rise. And you will have your 60, and they'll be like, today people overpass, you're going to go from 65. You'll cry, you'll have passed, but you understand it. Yes. And I'm not saying these things to scare you or to make you feel bad, but it happens. It has happened before. So when we finish the substituting words I mean when you're reading a passage and you find some words are hard. Of course you'll find words you don't understand their meaning, you may not even be able to pronounce them, but you're reading. Make sure when you're reading, because there is the trick I usually use when I'm comprehending words I've never seen before is when I read the sentence, if it continues, I try to understand, I put them in context. The question is, let me say, if the line is talking about the context, in most cases it makes more sense. You may not know the meaning of the word, but when you read the whole sentence, if they're saying, she meticulously applied her maybe lipstick or toenail, but nail varnish, not leaving any, and they put not leaving anything smeared. Your hint is on not leaving anything smeared. You don't know what meticulous means, it's okay. But they're thinking, so you think in terms of, so she put this thing in this way that she left nothing smeared. So you understand if they give you options, it's maybe careful, very careful, neatly, like in those angles. So they give you options that have carelessly, recklessly, without thought, you understand it's wrong. Because if she did it meticulously, which I don't know what it means, and she didn't have any smears anywhere, that means she was neat, she was careful, she took her time. You understand? So when you're reading, and you're seeing that big word, if you read and you get the meaning, you can cross it out and substitute it with a smaller word that you understand. Then you read again, it will make more sense. Instead of dying with a big word, you don't know what it means, you have a hint in the next sentence, like in the sentence, the following words in the sentence give you a hint, but you're dying with it. You execute it there and then, chances are high even you'll find another question asking you what it means, but you already solved the problem when you are reading. You understand, eh? Yeah. You also have to, as I said, that they ask questions based on the paragraph. So you have to read your passage, read it only the first time, pick out what you read it the second time, and every time you're going to answer a question, go back in that paragraph, read what it means. So read twice and go back in the paragraph. Every time they ask you a question, before you choose any option, because chances are high, option will be right and one will be wrong, but I want you to get the best out of them. So you go back and read the entire wording of the question. Sometimes the answers are using the same words they used in the paragraph. So that is the best option. Instead of finding things, if they are saying, why do you think the minister stopped people from going to school? and in the passage there is something. The education minister stopped students from going to school because they wanted to curb the spread of coronavirus. And they give you options that have, he didn't want it to spread, but then they also give you an option that has, they wanted to curb the spread of coronavirus. You disregard everything else, even if it sounds right. You go with the one that has exactly the same wording, because it's like a hint, it's like a hint. You go back, you put it in the sentence, you read it again, it makes sense. So every time you answer, you go back to that passage, that paragraph. We read again, pick out the best option. All options sometimes may be wrong and it's okay. It's not a must that you have to have an answer all the time. It's not a must that when they ask you, you have to have an option. Sometimes option D, which is none of the above, is the correct answer. You don't have to force it.
So, I think
and understand, because they know the answers are here. So they'll make the questions as clear as possible, but the answers are in the passage. They just want to test when you read, do you understand what you've read? If they ask you something and they give you all options are correct, they are actually there in the passage, but you're programmed in this way, you've been revising, they tell you some option is wrong, you have to choose one. Every poem is, every passage is unique, you have to understand. If the answers are all correct and you read the passage, it actually flows. There is no point in choosing a wrong answer when there is all of the above are correct. So it's all about you reading and understanding. Sometimes no answer will be correct, sometimes two answers will be correct and they'll put both A and B. Sometimes it will be both, all of them are correct and they'll ask you. So you have to really read and understand, because nothing is straightforward. They are trying to trick you. Yet it's the easiest part, because the answers are there will be looking at you. Just want you to read and understand. Yes, so also, I think this is basic. Don't panic. Read the question and understand it. Be confident. What most times disturbs students with Preentry is you're entering, you're panicking, you're seeing people, you don't know them, you're very many. That day you will be very many. Right now when you're coaching, you see there is a few of you. People are many. You look at it and not even pass. Look at this guy. Some people are coming in suits, holding pens. They can't wait to start. They're intimidating you. I swear. And some people are fraternizing, like people who came from the same school or from a bigger school than yours. They'll be making their corners, all their cartoons, discussing, they're all laughing. The people from nice schools, they're already looking at you like the best students in Preentry come from schools that are not even those top schools that we think about. And I'm not saying anyone's school is bad, but the people will make you feel like that. They'll wear suits. This one is wearing like a lawyer. They think they have already passed for you, or come maybe in your dress. It is raining, it has rained on you. You understand? And the weather can seem to be against you and Preentry. It can rain. If it shines, it will shine. So, breathing, know this is for you. It is us, the underdogs, who usually come out top in these things. Have that confidence, because even the best students over years, I always people from schools that are not really that big, and I'm not saying anyone's school is small, but you know the mentality in Uganda, we have those, I'm from, just keep quiet, you know where you're from, eh? And also, when you go through, of course you're going to find this lecturer in first year, it's called Mayambala, Professor Mayambala. You pass the Preentry, you'll be like another Preentry. He'll make life so hard for you, he'll bully you. By the time you're done with first year, if you survive, he can make you change course. He will tell you things are not easy, this is not your mother's course, it's not for the poor, you came from some funny school. He likes saying Chibumba progressive, you think you're coming from Chibumba progressive, you want to do, keep quiet, suck it in. This is yours, it's a leveling ground, Preentry. You all pass, we are all good enough. If you fail, that means it wasn't for you. Whether you came from that top-notch school and I came from down here, if we all passed, we are at the same level. So be confident. Enter that paper knowing it's always us, the underdogs, or the people that they undermine. question and you're going to take this down. Everyone should just be comfortable with their skin. Don't be bullied, don't feel bad, take that paper, be calm. When you come, you read things, you understand them. People will get out of the paper, tell you it was easy or it was hard, but in your heart, when you've done sense in your heart, you know, I've done my best. I read this thing, I understand it, I'm not doubting myself. And you leave it to the examiners. That's why if you're good in a part, be the best in it. Because it will be your saving grace that someone who is good in math will die with his math first, do aptitude, then start panicking with the writing. Because you know most people who are sciencers, they don't really know these things of writing. Now you have to put those idioms. What are idioms? Like you understand, then you have to put those catchphrases. They really don't know these things. Or if their English is good and that's okay. But everyone has to be best in what they know best, so that you get your best marks there to help you float. Because this thing is like trying to drag all the way down, so may the best person float. Make sure your angles will float. So confidence. Be confident. Just be confident. Don't let anyone make you panic. Don't let anyone fool you thinking they are campaigning, you're already scared, they're dressing like lawyers for the paper, they are hitting their pens, they can't wait. Or you're still cramming, maybe still have your paper of general knowledge, you're still reading. Okay, the boom, what was behind it, it's okay. Take your time. Reach the paper, know you're done. Know you're going to do your best. Yes. And I've already talked about it, it's okay not to know the words. It's fine when you don't know the things. Don't panic because you don't know the meaning of something and you start panicking. It's fine not to know because these things are targeted not to make it easy for you. They are trying to make it hard. But do your best. I'm sure even if you don't know the word and you're seeing it for the first time, if it's something that is put in a sentence, try your best to understand if they use this word and then the next word is this. What are they trying to tell you? You may not know the words. Or you may read the entire passage to understand, because they will never put contradicting principles. If they are saying this person in the beginning was meticulous, if they are going to contradict it, they will be like, however, on this very day, something strange happened. The usual meticulous person, this happened. Those are your hints to help you understand what they meant in the first paragraph. So, just don't panic, be alert when answering the questions, and it's okay not to know the words, but put them in context. Yes, just like I told you already, it's fine and it's okay to have the option of none of the above. In most cases, I find students asking, but I can't put none. I cannot be without an answer. And I'm like, if there is no answer and all the options are wrong, why should you choose the wrong one? Well, because it's closer to the correct one, though it's not there. That alone is wrong. I don't want to be like, this one here to put none. Ask if they will cross you out, and every mark counts in Preentry. That one mark may think, that question I'll not answer it. I think I already have my 70. You may count your 70, but the spelling is not a punctuation. Or the short forms you used in analytical writing are getting you off. And before you know it, the 70 is going down, now working out of 50. And that is just the line. And that's how people perform better. Hey, there will be a lot of 60s. Before you know it, it's up. And they're sitting you down. You understand? So, when it's okay to have the option of none, don't force life. When you read something and you understand it, you understand that whatever they're telling me is not right, this is the right answer. And there is always one right answer, which is the best option. So when you see that there is the options of none, please choose none when there is no right option. Don't just die and have to find an answer. It's not possible. These are trick questions. These are tricks they are playing on your mind. And sometimes they'll put things. When they put an option of none, in your mind, ask yourself, why are they putting it? They don't just slap it there. They are either putting it there because it is the right option, or because they want to trick you into thinking there is no option, so I should choose it. So in most cases, when you see there is an option of none on a number, it has not been on other number, find out when you look at these questions, they'll ask you, what do you think is the best? What do you think is the suitable? What do you think they will argue with most? They want the best option. You have to read these things and understand, and don't just answer what you're seeing in the passage. That's why it's called comprehension. Read and understand. If someone is talking about their donkey being taken from them and they lied to them because they wanted it to turn into a human being, then they ask you, what do you think is the best reason for this person saying this and this? Don't just read and be like, by the time someone lies to you, they are selfish. You slap it there. If in the passage they tell you later on, the person who tricked them and took their donkey away, used it for labor, they used it to do their farm work. And they give you options like that, but because you didn't see it in the passage, that's why you have to read and understand. If someone lies to me and they take out my donkey, and later on, I see them using it at the farm, doing their farm work, is it most likely that they tricked me and they lied to me because they needed something that could help them? Is it because they hate me? Is it because I look stupid? All those things are just emotions. The answer is because they tricked you, they wanted to use that word to themselves. All these things you felt, I felt betrayed, they betrayed me, they're just emotions you feel. So you read something and understand what they want you to answer, not what you're seeing in the paper, in the passage. Answer what they want you to answer, what is required of you, not what you want. Because you want to make it easy, you answer the first thing that comes to your mind. Answer what they want you to answer. The examiner wants you to answer, not what you think is the right thing. And we use also, basically when we are choosing options, when we are answering these questions that have options, we use the elimination method. I mostly tell my students we use the elimination method. Because in most cases they'll give you options A, and they'll put B, C, E, maybe E, which is maybe none. So in most cases when we are reading, when they ask a question, we go back, like I said, we go back to that paragraph and read. And after reading, these things are still fresh in your mind. You just read it, you're not ready for 10 minutes, you're going to looking through questions. You go back and read it, it's still fresh in your mind. You look at question A. Be like, according to what I've just read, is it option A? Is it some of those answers? Something and you just look at it like, it can't be this one. You cross it out fast. You just know, so it can't be that. Then you go to B. So if B is saying this and this, we also consider it. We're like, okay, let's first consider B. But we're not thinking if we're just leaving it there for the meantime. Then we go to C. We find out that C is actually saying things that are not even connecting. We cross out A. So we're left with B and D. And you choose among those two. It narrows down your scope. You understand it? Instead of being bombarded with many answers, you don't know which one is going to be the right one. There are those answers that you just look at and you're like, according to what I've read, this can't be the answer. It's not even an option. You cross it out. Then you look at the next one and you're like, okay, let me first keep this one in mind. Then you look, you see there's even a better one. Then you look, there is actually a correct one. That means the other one which is saying 9 is already off. This one which is outrageous. And this one which is just good and the better. You go with the best. You understand? You do the elimination. But you don't overjoy of things. Don't be there, you're in 20 minutes, you're an option, you're like, is this one? Is this? No. Go and find out there are those answers which on the spot for each other like, After reading, this can't be. You even laugh, sometimes the answers are really funny, you can laugh at it, you cross it out, you go to the next one. And then, after we are talking about the elimination, now, sometimes they will ask you in these questions something to do with what will be the suitable title for the passage. Now, when they're asking you about a suitable title, title is something that gives a hint about the entire paragraph passage. It is something that you will write that will cover the whole passage, not just something that you think, the first line talks about cars. Talking about Mercedes, it's Mercedes. you talk about, you get a title from something that gives you the general idea of what is being talked about. A title has to cover everything in the passage. It has to be relevant to all the paragraphs, not just to the first one or the second, or just the last one. Some people go in the last thing, they say, I'll get the title from the conclusion. They are concluding on what? You have to get something that when you read it and you read the words they are given you, it is relevant, it makes sense. The same is when they ask you about what you think is the main idea that is being portrayed maybe in this passage or maybe in this paragraph. You get something that covers the entire thing. You don't just feel like the first word was strange bedfellows. Are they talking about beds? No. Read the entire thing. Find out what is the author saying. That's why I told you in the first place. So it's very nice to find out who is talking, what tone are they using to talk. If it's someone that is talking about happy things, and you're like, who is this person? And this person is someone maybe who works at that museum, and is saying about the nice things that happen. When they ask you about what do you think you understand, you already put in your mind, this is someone who works in this museum, and they're happy with this and this and this. They're complaining about this. That means they would want such a solution. It gives you insight. It's not the same as just reading words and you're just seeing words. It makes you feel what they are feeling. And the moment you start feeling what the author is putting across, passage is done. Because they are saying these things to trigger an emotion or an understanding in you. The moment you understand them, it could be a passage about something that you're very reverse to or repulsive to. It could be a passage about a terrorist trying to tell you why they kill. In your head, morally, you know, terrorists, nothing. You people have to die by hanging, shoot you. You're already bitter. But then the person the idea or what is the best something is bringing out in this paragraph or what is the best title, consider that thing as a whole. If they're asking what is the best idea, the main idea they're bringing about in this paragraph, they're going to give you answers that are almost correct. I want you to look at the best or the main. That is where it becomes tricky. Look at the best alternative, the most correct answer. Don't just answer what you think is the right thing. Don't just answer on a whim because you think time is flying. That's why I'm telling you, if you're good in a part, make sure you focus on that part. Perfect it. Well, if you know you're like me, you have no math phobia, why do you start with numeric skills? 1 hour later, you're still calculating a fraction, a half of what? Go do your English, go do your writing, do your aptitude. If you're good in math, why would you be struggling with words, writing a composition in the first part? When you're still boiling with knowledge, go attack the part that you can do best. Put all your knowledge and time there, leave it perfect. Then go and look at other things. Like put that thing last, the one that you're not sure of. If the time is running out, you've already collected your marks there. Here you can try your best. If you can't calculate, if you want to calculate, you do it in the beginning. If you're like people who just zones out when I see figures, you put it last. Yes. So, are also most important in whatever religion you believe in whatever faith. Hear about these things. These things are mostly like that sometimes. You're going to see people. If you guys who are here, you may see yourselves when you go through. And I'm saying when you go through, not if you go through, because I believe you're going to go through. Go through, you will see your friends there. You'll also see those who missed by 1 month. You see those who just made a small mistake, or maybe in application, they only put day and over afternoon, something like that. Because first you have their evening, but these other years have morning, afternoon, and executive. So someone will just put only day, and you find that the cutoffs for day are higher. And for you, by some guidance of maybe someone, just share that, or Holy Spirit, you put evening or afternoon, and your points are lower. And by chance, you get the afternoon. So all these things, sometimes you just break the board. You may find that you just passed on the pass mark, they cut other people away, and you're just the last name. So pray, put somebody in, put some faith in it. It it doesn't kill. And there are also people you're going to find who are going to do the pre-entries. Maybe they will come and then you'll be in class with people who didn't sit the paper and they are there. They are special. Who knows? Things happen. Not everyone is going to go through the fire going through it. Make sure that when you go through it and you are victorious. So even when you find these people who didn't do the paper but they are there, people have a rapport with government, things like that. Someone will not do the paper but they will be there somehow. And they will be there and they will study without a hassle. And of course, you know what goes wrong comes wrong. Maybe in most cases, this people will not hang around because when you don't work hard for something, they say you don't value it. Maybe you'll find that natural selection will happen and they will follow for the way. Oh my God, I will bully them into changing. And for you, hold fast because you need to prepare for this. You put in time to make it more worthwhile. You feel like you earned it. So whatever happens, pray. Pray that luck is on your side. Anything can happen. Pray for those people that are going to mark you. Maybe let them be lenient for a small spelling error, maybe for a punctuation, something like that. It could be just the title of someone that you failed to put and that alone. You can't just slap Museveni there, you put His Excellency, you understand? So those small things. Just pray and be confident. Like I told you, Preentry is for the underdogs. If it were about these people who are from good schools with big points, 20 out of 20, some people would never have stepped in those schools. It's a leveling ground. If it were maybe for about only boys, girls will never be in school. Maybe it was for only girls, boys will never get a chance. So just know it was made for you. The fact that you're putting your effort, the fact that you go to that good school, you got the knowledge from there, use it to your advantage. And also the fact that you didn't go to that good school, that big school, or your boys are not 20 out of 20, because no one cares about 20 and 20. You have that 12 and above. You apply. That is the standard. So use everything. Boost your confidence. If you're from a small school or from a school that you think, oh my God, these people are from this big school, they're fraternizing. Boost up your confidence. Be confident. It's the confidence that will help you go through that paper. Because it's intimidating. People are already intimidated. The paper is intimidating. The weather is bad. You're even looking for the building with blue windows. You're not seeing it. You reach, maybe you're late. All those things, just be confident and pray and be very careful in everything you do. When you find that the paper has been easy, go back and recheck. Because if it's easy, it's not easy for only you. Everyone is finding it easy and they're going to heighten the pass mark. And you don't want them to lift the pass mark when your points are just on that thread of passing. That's why you have to do everything you do, aiming for the best. Mean that even if they push the pass mark up, you're still there. Because it's a very satisfying experience when you finally come to law school and you understand you worked for it. It is the best. It is the best thing, and I would want for everyone to be there. It is the best thing. You will see. So I wanted us to go through maybe one passage, a short one, due to the essence of time. Just one passage. Then we shall go to the next panelist. So I think we should do passage. Legally speaking, like in law, it's like a disturbance or something that is put to restrict you, something like that. Like it's standing in your way. Encumbrances. So you'll be like a problem, something that is standing in my way. If I put it in context, why?
It's another way. I would say incumbents.
Incumbents. Sorry, I read encumbrance. My mistake. Incumbents. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me consider that. But then I look at mode of conduct. This is like an act. I decided to go into election as per the normal schedule, which was announced by the Election Commission of India on 10th March 2019. After which, the mode of conduct was applied with immediate effect. And they're telling you, since when was the code of conduct applied with immediate effect? And they're giving you dates. Part today is 23rd May. Do we even see anything that going to 23rd May in our passage? So we know that is off. Then I see 10th March. 10th March 2019. But in our passage, we have, which was announced by the Election Commission of India on 10th March. So we see there is a 10th March. Do we cross it out or do we first consider it? We consider apt meaning of speculations as per the passage. Apt meaning means, they say it's apt, the direct or the clear or the most correct meaning. And when they say apt, it means the most correct or the most direct, the most suitable meaning. That is the apt meaning of speculations as per the passage. And where are these speculations in our passage? In the last paragraph? Yes. And I think earlier there were speculations that the Modi government might advance the 2021 general elections to counter the anti-incumbency factor. However, learning from its past blunder of preponing elections made by that government decided to go into elections as per the normal schedule, which was announced by the Election Commission of India on 10, 2019. Yeah. So they're asking, what do you think is the most correct or the most right meaning of the word speculation as per the passage? So when you hear earlier there were speculations that the government might, okay? Your hint is in the word the government might. When you see the use of might, you understand there is uncertainty. Okay? They are not certain. When you say, I might go to town, you're not different for someone. You're different for someone who says, I'm going to go to town, or I think I'm going to go to town. You understand? When I say I might, I'm not sure I may or may not go. Chances are high I will go, chances are high that I will not go. But I'm there. I'm not saying I won't go, but I'm also not saying I will go. You understand? When they say might, after they're saying speculations that the Modi government might advance, your hint lies in might advance. So it shows you that whatever this word means, it has to be used in the line of something that is uncertain. There is that suspense. I'm uncertain. I'm curious. I don't know. I'm not sure. It gives you those vibes of uncertainty. You're not sure. So let's go and see the options they gave us. What is the most apt meaning of speculation? Okay, simply put, speculations is assumptions. I speculate, I assume, like those things that you be like, I think when the rain comes and these things will grow, I think by December, you will have a bag of things like that. You're not sure. You're speculating. You're dealing on that. You're using things, events that are not yet happening. You understand? Eh? So they're saying what is the most apt meaning? Conjectures, assumptions, and the other option is either A or B. You can't have an answer and say either A or B. It's like you're also telling the examiner one of the above is the right one. They want you to give them the answer. So I feel like we remove either A or B is wrong, and then we look at assumptions. We've already said speculation has an element of assuming, presuming, you're uncertain. There is an assumption. So I'm like, assumption is something I can consider. And then they are saying both A and B. So, conjectures. What are conjectures? Move on it. Because these are words, if you've been in your training, I think you've come across words that they'll tell you synonyms. They'll give you a word. I lost this one. It's a synonym. Okay. Synonyms are words that have the same meaning but they're different. It's just like saying excitement. Then I'm like, another word to mean excitement, merrymaking. Oh, Mary, she was merry. Those are words, synonyms are words that are different but have the same meaning. And then antonyms are opposites. When they say antonyms, you just know if they're saying find the antonym of happy, you'll know it's sad. Antonym is the negative. the opposite, sorry. So basically here we're testing your knowledge on synonyms. And I usually tell my students when they find a new word, they go look up its meaning, get its synonyms and its antonyms. So you know if they say, even if you didn't read conjunctions, but if you read the synonyms of assumption, you know somewhere I read conjunctions and I'm like, I'm not assuming, then I'm certain. You understand, eh? Yes. So here now, the correct answer was D, of course. Both A and B, because assumptions and conjunctions mean the same thing, they're just synonymous to each other. You understand, eh? So basically, that's how we apply elimination to find the most correct answer. Elimination, you go back and read every passage they tell you. And if you look through our questions, let me see, our questions on this passage, you can see that some questions have been coming, like in the way I told you, questions can come according to paragraphs. Because you see, there is something they will ask you and you're like, this is in the second paragraph. This I found it in the first paragraph. This is in the third. This is in the last. So it's important to pay attention to all those things. Read the thing in the first place. Read it again. Every time you answer the question, go back and read. So the things, the details are fresh in your mind. You answer the most correct thing. Yes, unless I have questions, I think that's what I would recommend for today. And these passages, if we had time, we'll go through all of them. But I wanted us to choose the shortest one in the essence of time. But also to give you the tips that I gave you, the organic is. So if I could get any questions from you on any area that you want me to clarify, anything that you want me to maybe more emphasize. Yes, sir.
So can you just look at the tips?
Okay. All right. So in the beginning, we talked about when you first read the passage, and I shared with your friends that for some of us, for me, an example, I wasn't really good at numerical skills. I don't really deal with math. So my area of interest was mostly the writing, the English, and all the other things, even aptitude, I liked aptitude. But numerical skills, I didn't count my marks there. So at first, we first talked about the fact that if you're good in something, make sure you perfect it. If you're good in writing skills, or you're good in comprehension, language skills, make sure you get your best marks there, because other things are going to be hard. And in Preentry, every mark counts. Every single mark. You would go off because of one mark, and they'll not even give you a reason. You just keep on going, you're not saying your name, until someone who is merciful will tell you, oh, how many did you have? Like 51. Oh, sorry, cut off from 52. You will feel like you want to die. It's one mark, so every mark counts. You have to make sure you concentrate very much on the parts that you're good at, so to milk out all the marks you can get. And then you go to the other parts you're not sure of. By sheer luck, you may get a 5 out of the numerical skills. Maybe if you could find an easy question that just requires general knowledge of the sun rises from the east to the west, things like that, what direction, and just circle east. You understand it? So we talked about if you're good in passages, if you think that passages are your thing, consider them most. And when you're dealing with passages, we say that in the beginning, when you read the passage itself, you have to find out, it will help you a lot to understand the passage. Find out what is the tone of the person you speak. What tone are they using? And tone is how my words come out, because now you can hear me, you can know my tone. Maybe it's a strong one, I'm speaking with conviction, but when you're reading a passage, you will not know what they're saying, you will not hear them. You have to assume from the words they are using to know, okay, what tone are they happy? Are they sad? Are they indifferent? Are they somber? When you're somber, you're just there. Like you know those days where you feel like, I don't know what's wrong, I'm just there, I'm not happy. But then I don't know where, something is just wrong. You're somber, you don't know what's eating you, like something is wrong, but you don't know what it is. So when you find out their tone, you can understand what they're saying. And to find out tone, some of the hints that I gave is that the opening remarks of the statement. When they give us a statement that is, like they give you a passage that is engaging, that is talking about things, you understand from the way they are saying, when someone makes you open up, the opening statement is, not again, and then they are putting it in quotes and I'm putting an exclamation that not again, complained my neighbor. Her cat was lost for the second time in a row. Tom does this every day. And then you understand Tom is the cat, okay, he's getting lost, this is the second time in a row, and the neighbor is saying, not again, complain the neighbor. The hint is on the word complained. When you see complained, in your mind automatically, you know, you don't complain about things in a good way. When you're complaining about something, you're unsatisfied, there is unsatisfaction. That means when I'm unsatisfied, that means I'm complaining.